Hello, in today's class we will learn about electric charge. So in this class we will see what is an electric charge, what are its properties, what are the properties, and then we will also see how a body can be charged. So first let us learn what is electric charge. So electric charge is nothing but physical property of matter. It's a physical property, and this property is actually responsible for electric forces. So electric charge is the physical property of a matter which is responsible for electric forces. So these forces can be of attraction or repulsion. So electric charge is the physical property, and the charges are of two types. The first one is positive charge and the next one is negative charge. Then what is the unit to measure the charge? The SI unit is coulomb, and the symbol which we use is C. So whenever you see a symbol C, it means that it is coulomb. So now we know what is an electric charge. Next we will see what are the properties of electric charge. The first one is charge is a scalar quantity. Because the charge is scalar quantity, we can add them algebraically. So to know the total charge in the system, so you just add all the charges together. So for example, if you have a system which has n number of charges, so I wrote it as a Q1, Q2, Q3, etc. up to n number of charges, then the total charge can be found as Q is Q1 plus this is Q2 plus Q3, etc. up to Qn. Only the important thing we have to consider is when we add, we have to take the proper sign, because we have two kind of charges, one is positive charge and one is negative charge. So when we add, you have to consider proper sign. So here let us take an example of a system which has three charges. Q1 is minus 5 coulomb, Q2 is minus 2 coulomb, Q3 is plus 9 coulomb. Then the total charge of the system is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So when you add, so what number you are going to get? The total charge becomes, with proper sign you add, so the total charge is plus 2 coulomb. So that is about charge is a scalar quantity. So the next is very important, that is charge is quantized. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is all free charges are integral multiples of unit charge E. So this unit charge is nothing but E. The value is E is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 C. C is nothing but the unit of charge, that is coulomb. So if a body has a charge Q, so it can always denoted as Q is NE, where n is any integer 1, 2, 3. So charge is integral multiple of E. So that is nothing but charge is quantized. So you cannot write, a body which has a charge of 1.1 electron, 2.2 E, minus 5.3 E, etc. because this number is always an integer. So charges are represented as integral multiple of E. So this fact, wherein the electric charge is always an integral multiple of E, is nothing but known as quantization of charge. So the second property is important, that is charge is quantized. First one is charge is a scalar quantity. Next one is charge is quantized. Next we will see the third one. So the third one is easiest one, that is like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So I guess this you already know, just like your magnets, like poles and unlike poles. Similar to that, like charges repel and unlike charges attract. So the next one is charge is conserved. The meaning is the charge neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one body to other, so that the total charge in the system remains the same. So charge is conserved. And the last one is charge is always associated with mass. So whenever a charge gets transferred from one body to the other, mass also gets transferred. This happens because the electron, which is actually taking part in the transfer of charge, has some mass associated with it. Because the charges have mass, the charge is always associated with mass. So for example, consider a neutral body over here which has a mass of m. So let some number of electrons are transferred from this body. So when a body loses electrons, it becomes positively charged. So the new mass of this system will become m minus delta m. So that means it has lost some of the electrons and hence its mass has reduced. So delta m is the mass of electrons which are transferred from this body. So m minus delta m is its new mass. Similarly, if this body gains some electrons, it becomes negatively charged and its new mass will become m plus delta m, where delta m is the mass of electrons which it has gained. So if a body gains electrons, its mass will increase, whereas if it loses electrons, its mass will reduce. So charge is always associated with mass. So now we have learned 5 properties. The first one is it's a scalar quantity. Second one is the charge is quantized. Third one is like charges repel, unlike charges attract. Fourth one is charge is conserved. And the fifth one is charge is always associated with mass. Next we'll see how a body can be charged. So next I'll write here charging a body. Charging a body. So a body can be charged by 3 methods. First one is friction. Second one is induction. Third one is conduction. So a body can be charged by 3 means. First one is friction. Second one is induction. Third one is conduction. So first we'll take up charging by friction. I'll write here charging by friction. So this happens when 2 bodies are rubbed together. So when 2 bodies are rubbed together, we can charge the bodies, if the bodies are charged by rubbing them, then we can say that they are charged by friction. So what happens here is, when two bodies are rubbed together, the electrons are transferred from one body to the other. So if we have two bodies and if you are rubbing them together, so during this process what will happen is, one body will lose electrons, the other body will gain electrons. The body which loses electrons becomes positively charged, and the other which gains electrons becomes positively charged. So the body will be negatively charged and another body which loses electrons is positively charged. So loses electrons, positively charged. So this body gains electrons, negatively charged. So this is how a body can be charged by friction. So next one is charging by conduction. Charging by conduction. So this charging by conduction is nothing but, when you take two identical bodies and bring them in physical contact. So this charging by conduction happens when we have two identical bodies which are brought in physical contact. So important is, this happens when two bodies come in contact with each other. So then what happens is, when you take two identical bodies and bring them in physical contact, the charge gets transferred from one body to other until both the bodies acquire the same charge. So let me explain this. So let us take a body which has a charge of plus Q1. Take another body which has a charge of plus Q2. Now bring them in physical contact with each other. So the charge will get transferred in such a way that both of these bodies will acquire the same charge. So let us say, after physical contact, these two bodies will have a charge of Q dash, where Q dash is nothing but Q1 plus Q2 divided by 2. So charging by conduction happens when two bodies come in physical contact with each other. So the charge gets transferred in such a way that both the bodies will acquire the same charge. So this is the second method, and the last one is charging by induction. So here charging, I'll write here charging by induction. Charging by induction. So here important to remember is, so in charging by induction, there is no physical contact between the bodies. So without physical contact, so in this case the charging happens without physical contact. Where in the first two previous cases, the charging would happen only during physical contact, but here without physical contact. So let us see how it can be done. So let us say we have a charged body which has negatively charged. So now you want a neutral body to charge, so that there is no physical contact between this charged body and the neutral body. So bring this let us say I have a neutral body. So what you do is bring this neutral body near to this charged body. So when a neutral body is brought near to the charged body, what happens is this charged body will attract the opposite charge, that means the positive charge, and it will repel all the negative charges. So all the positive charge will come this side and negative charge will go on the other side. This is because of this negative charge attracts all the positive charges on the neutral body. So the charged body attracts opposite charges and repels similar charges. So this is the first step. You bring the neutral body nearer to the charged body. So next what you have to do is connect this neutral body to earth through a conducting wire. So through a conducting wire, connect it to earth. So all the negative charges flows into the earth. And subsequently you remove this earthing. So now the third step is remove the earthing. So the negative charge is here, and the neutral body now has positive charges which are attracted towards the negative charged body. Now the first step, if you remove this charged body, now the neutral, initially it was a neutral body, and the charge will get uniformly distributed all over its surface. So this is how you can charge a body without physical contact. So charging a body can be done by three methods. One is charging by friction, the second one is charging by conduction, and the third one is charging by induction. So here the first two are done when the bodies are in physical contact, and the last one is a body can be charged without a physical contact also.